Welcome to another episode of High Proof Ashes. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason JB Smoke, and across from me,
Duran, you know what it is. No cool nickname. We're in a different building. I can't say, back in the building, I suppose,
back
but
in
in a
building.
different building.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So we're hanging out at one of our local spots, Ocoee Cigar Lounge. We've talked about them before,
Yeah.
but here we are again, and we're going to highlight a couple things about them, and we've got a brand new stick that came out not that long ago.
Yep.
I will look up exactly when. And hey, we got a variety of spirits here, right?
Yes, absolutely. So it should be an enjoyable episode, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of no game plan to this one, except the idea of we're smoking this, long live the queen, and this is the Maduro.
This is.
So it just came out, like Jason said. So we get to experience this firsthand. Neither one of us have tried it, so you'll get a very honest opinion from us on this one today. But
I do love the regular.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is an amazing cigar.
I'm a fan of just about everything that comes from them. So
Yeah.
I don't think I've had anything that I don't enjoy. When I try to think back, I can't think of anything that I don't enjoy, truthfully.
No, I can't think of anything either.
Yeah.
Everything they make is really, really solid.
Yeah, absolutely. But we'll tell you what we brought to drink, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, of course, we've got K-Loop. This is their newest batch that they dropped. This is a boutique brand. I got a chance to meet the owner, so you might be able to see that the bottle is signed. And then recently we picked up the Kings. This is the 17 year. We were there doing a bottle pick, right? For this bottle, actually.
Yep.
Or a bottle like it. This is the red, white, and blue edition of the Kings.
That's one barrel. We're going to get a different barrel.
We're going to get a different barrel, right? And then on that side, I'll let Jason tell you what the last three are since I grabbed three.
I mean, we like to bring you just a really cool, weird niche.
Different things.
So this is I believe it's 8-year MGP that was finished in a William LaRue Weller barrel.
Yeah, make sure you get that right, because just regular Weller barrel ain't special. William LaRue Weller barrel.
I don't know why I have such a hard time saying.
It's
William
weird, flowing off the
Weller.
tongue.
I have to really slow it down.
It's a little weird. It's definitely a little weird.
So they finished it in that barrel, and then they finished it in a honey barrel. And it's phenomenal. Yes, I have it turned around to the tater sticker. Yes, it is a Good Times. Yes, I don't buy Good Times normally,
but this one, banger,
was a banger.
Yeah, definitely.
So probably gonna visit that one. Actually, I think I'm gonna visit this one on a clean palate again and see.
That's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah. Then we have the Wilderness Trail, single barrel, which we got these at the end of last year when a bunch of distilleries just flooded the market with a bunch of discounted stuff to get rid of it, basically, right? So this is a $65 bottle that we got for $25.
Absolutely, and I am upset that I didn't buy more of them.
I bought two.
I did too, and I've already gone through one, and my second one is quite low.
Yeah, I think this is my second one, but it's just good.
It's a good bottle, man.
Yeah,
especially at a $25 price point, it was really hard to beat.
I mean, and then the last one, you've seen it before on the podcast. That is the Rare Character maple finish, right? Maple cast finish.
Yeah, one of my favorites. It doesn't come out very often, but it was in the bag, so it'll make another little.
It's a great bottle, man. But hell, these are all great bottles.
Yeah, everything up.
Is that the K-Loop you brought to Whiskey Wednesday? Okay, so
no, yes, I did bring it to Whiskey Wednesday.
That was the one you had hidden.
Yeah, I had it in the floor.
Okay. So all right, that one, that's really good.
Yeah, but it was also at our private tasting the other night.
Yes.
And nobody went near it until I said it's a 17 year, and then it was like, oh, really? Let's go look at it.
Let's give it a try.
Yeah, let's give it a try. But let's get lit up, man.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited with this one. Pretty dark, as expected from a Maduro.
Smells great.
Whoa.
Smells great.
It's very pungent.
Yeah. It's normally a good sign.
Yeah. Let's get into this. We're going to both do a straight cut. I'm lazy. I got the dummy cutter. I love my dummy cutter. Makes things super easy. Man, I had a cigar last night and had to actually pull out a regular guillotine because it wasn't like a rounded head. It wasn't a torpedo, but it was kind of like a bellicoso head. And at that point I'm even lazier. And I don't feel like making 5 cuts with a blind cutter or whatever you want to call this. And so I pull out the regular one for that. But
the cold draw didn't give me anything special. It feels like a very tight cigar. I may have to cut a little more.
The one thing I can tell you, this wrapper is really oily. Like it immediately dried my lips because it's so oily. I did not get a good light.
Ooh, it's strong.
A little bold, isn't it?
It's strong. It is definitely strong. It's got some flavor there. But what I want to do, before I go too deep into this cigar,
we
were supposed to prime my palate with this Wilderness Trail.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go to that honey barrel. That William LaRue.
I'm going to prime with the, well, maybe not. Well, what's the proof on that one?
I don't know. It's not as high as that, that's for sure.
You say that?
115.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It's not as high. I'll prime with that too.
Everything here is pretty high proof tonight. The K-Luke is 118. The rare character, where are you? March
107 or 8, right?
It's 107.7. Yeah. This might have been the lowest proof thing here. But you don't want to ruin your palate with the maple.
No.
Because once you put that in your glass, you have to go rinse it thoroughly.
You sure do. I mean, there's nothing crazy special about this one other than it's just a really great core bourbon, 115 proof. You know, it's not going to wow you with any special flavors.
No, but it's not going to disappoint either.
It is a very solid pour.
Yeah.
And for,
it's not going to disappoint either.
For $25 for 115 proof.
I just don't think you can. It's one of those things that, like, for $25, it's not many bottles out here that I would drink over this.
No.
Now, again, you can't buy it for that every day.
No.
But at the time we bought it, it was $25, and that's just an exceptional price. And, like, it made it an everyday drinker for me because of how inexpensive it was at the time. You know, so.
Well, and unlike the what is it, the Copper Craft or Cooper Craft? What is it? I had actually had this before.
Okay.
Probably not that barrel.
Right.
But I had a Wilderness Trail single barrel before. I already knew that I liked it.
Yeah.
And so buying this was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, you can definitely taste the proof on it.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not, like, it tastes 115 proof, but it's not offensive, right?
It's so, and here's part of the real problem. We're priming with 115 proof.
We're also, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's very true.
That's not normal. Normally when you prime, you're going to do something lower proof just to warm the palate up.
Yeah.
You wouldn't jump into the deep end at 115 proof. Here's the truth. We don't have anything that's lower proof. We drink high proof. Neither one of us thought to load something in our bag that might be lower proof. Now that I think about it, we are here, and in my locker is a bottle of Blanton's. So we could have done that, but, you know, it is what it is. All right.
Man, the smoke production on this thing is
pretty phenomenal.
Wow.
Speaking of lockers, one of the things we wanted to talk about today was Cigar Lounge memberships, right?
Yep. Let's get into it.
So I would think, like, for me, I'm a huge fan of a Cigar Lounge membership at the right price.
For the right place.
For the right place.
You know, the right components, right? The right mix of variables needs to happen.
Right.
You know, and included in that is going to be the clientele.
Absolutely.
You know, and your small town lounge is going to have one kind of clientele, and, you know, New York City, you know, downtown New York City,
it's going to have a very different
business
clientele.
district.
Yeah, Manhattan is going to have a very different, you know, cigar lounge.
You know, that's a different lounge, so it's got a, you know, different clientele. So, you know, depending on, there is no one size fits all when it comes to your lounge memberships, right?
Right.
So
when you think of a cigar lounge membership, let's talk about what's included here, right? So here at our local lounge, we have a membership, right?
Mm-hmm.
So included in that membership, and there's a couple of different levels. We won't go into details on the levels, but there are a couple of different levels.
Well, and most places do that.
Most places have a couple of levels. So for me, a necessity at a cigar lounge for a membership is it's got to include a locker.
Yeah.
Period. Right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't necessarily store cigars in the locker. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But having the locker is nice.
It's your own private storage.
Absolutely.
Right? The fact that it's humidified just means that, okay, I can throw some cigars
in
there.
It's just more beneficial. Right?
But you wouldn't need it, right? You could just throw a Boveda pack in your...
Absolutely.
And that would do it.
Absolutely.
In the box that you put in the locker. So,
agreed. But a locker for me is required. For it to be a real membership, I have to have a locker.
Don't disagree.
I would like to also have some sort of discount involved. So either a discount on cigars or a certain portion of the money to go towards cigars. Something of that nature. Are there any specifics for you that you like? Is a game, or I guess a deal breaker that if they don't have this, a membership is just out?
I think it's one of those, if it's a sort of a package deal for me, right? So like what you just described, I'm okay with the discount as long as you include like a monthly cigar.
Right. Okay.
Right? Because the problem with the discount, it's not a problem, but inherently what happens with the discount is in order to make the money back for the cost of the locker using the discount, you have to spend quite a bit of money.
You got to buy a lot of cigars.
You got to buy a lot of cigars.
Right.
But that's not what you're trying to do, right? You're not trying to use up the discount to essentially make money. That's not what this is supposed to be about. But I feel like if you're going to do the discount, there needs to be one extra thing in there, right? Or you do like what they do here, which is you just get money on a house account.
Right.
You get a certain portion of it depending on the level.
Right.
Right. It's either,
a percentage or all of it.
Right.
At the bottom level, you get a percentage. At the top level, you get it all.
Right. So here, there's no actual like loss of money per se, other than that you're committing to spend that money here. Right. It's not like you get the money back. Right. But it means that you can use it just like you would if you were here buying anything else.
Yeah, you can use it for everything.
So if you have the top level membership here, then you don't get anything else but the money back and the locker.
Right.
But you get the locker.
Right.
So essentially you get the locker for free.
And that's kind of how I feel, right? Because
that's
my preferred membership.
It's certainly a very simple plan.
Right? Like I think it's a no-brainer for me to be at the top level just because I get the locker to store things, and then the amount of I'm going to spend that amount here every month regardless, pretty close to monthly. I'm going to spend my full allocation here between birthdays and accessories and different things, right?
Yeah.
So I just think it's a good idea. I'm not opposed to the percentage thing either. But I think if you're going to do a percentage, I think the other part that comes with that is that there also needs to be like a loyalty program, right? So for every dollar you spend, you accumulate some dollars off or something of that nature.
We're beating around the bush, right? But we're talking about a particular our other spot, right?
Absolutely, we're talking about the other spot that we frequent,
and they do everything you're talking about, right? So you get a discount, and the discount changes based on what level you're on, right? You get the cigar. I don't think you get the cigar if you're at the lowest level.
No, probably not.
You get they have the loyalty program.
But I think everyone that walks through the door gets the loyalty program, which is kind of cool if I'm not mistaken.
You might be right.
I think everyone that walks through the door gets a loyalty program, which is cool.
How do you feel about having a private area in the lounge with that membership?
It depends on the cost. It depends on the cost, right? I think for what we pay at both of the lounges, private area isn't really a big deal, right? If I was paying more, I'd probably expect it, but
But is that something you want?
Yes, I do like the idea of having a private space. There are just some days where I'm social butterflied out, right? Like, and I want to hang out with a select few people, or maybe I just want to keep to myself.
Right.
If you're in a public space, that's not an option, right?
Right.
So do I like the idea of a private space? Absolutely, because normally that private space, you're going to walk up to a private space and there's going to be people that are only members. And if you're having a day, you can say to your friends that are members, like, hey, man, I'm having a day. I'm just going to hang out in the corner and
right.
do my thing. Whereas if you're in the public,
You can't
it's
really do
rude,
that.
right, to say to the new guy walking through the door, like, hey, man, I just want to hang out by myself.
Right.
Like, so, yes, I'm a fan of the private lounge, and I of the private area, very much so, yes.
So if either place offered it for an upcharge, you would do that just to have the ability or the option
Probably, yes.
to go. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I don't know how I feel about it because I've never, just being honest, I've never frequented a place that had a private area.
It's very different for you, though. There's one reason why it's different for you. You have a home lounge. You have a private area.
That's you know what, you're exactly right. That's why I'm like,
you have a private area already. If you don't want to be bothered with people or you want to be
that's true.
in private, you just stay home because you have a place to smoke. The difference for me is if I want to be private and stay at home, I got to sit in the heat or the cold.
That's true.
Right?
You're right.
Two different scenarios.
Right.
That's why it makes sense for you to be like, I don't care about a private lounge. You can just stay at the house.
I wasn't saying that I don't care about it.
No,
I was saying that I don't.
You don't know that you would pay more.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here's, so you're not wrong in what you're saying, but the other part of me is like places that have the private spaces for members kind of do two things that I don't really like in a business model.
Okay.
One, they kind of exclude the in-town non-members because a lot of those places either don't provide a smoking area outside of the member area or it's very small.
That's so.
The other part is people who are just passing through, right? Walk-ins. Like I feel like places that have that private area, they kind of, man, I don't want to be accusatory.
So here's the problem.
But they treat them some kind of way, right?
I don't think you've been. So the problem is you haven't been to a lot of lounges that have the private area.
You're right. You're right. I haven't.
The one that you're talking about,
well,
burnt us.
Right. I am talking about that one specifically, but that's not the only one that I've been to that was like that.
So I've been to multiple that didn't make me feel that way. Okay. Harlem Cigars, right? Private area, all that, but also at the same time, very inviting, very easy to smoke, hang out, chill. So I think it has to do more with the people than it does the management. So
the workers, right?
Some of they create that environment of how they want it to be done, right? So if the workers and the people in the lounge aren't inviting, regardless if it's private or not, that's what you're going to get.
Right. But if you're at a lounge that doesn't offer a private space, they can't do that, right? They'll push all the business away and eventually they'll go out of business, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so, like, I guess I'm putting the message out there to anyone that's watching this that, either owns a lounge or works at one or whatever. Mm-hmm. If you've got a private space, that's fine, but don't treat your non-members in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because they're a non-member.
Yeah,
because you don't know where they are.
You don't know what they're going through. They might not be able to afford the membership at the moment, or whatever it might be, right?
I mean, if I'm passing through town and I want to stop at the lounge, mm-hmm. like, you should be inviting to me because I'm going to tell other people about you, right?
That's like a part of cigar culture, right? Like the whole reason that we enjoy cigars is partly because of the camaraderie, right? So like if I'm in a new city, the first thing I do is look up, where's a cigar lounge?
That's right.
Right, and I'm going to go there and smoke. So I'll tell you a place. It was just recently in Florida. I won't say the name of the establishment. You know where I was at. It's a big boy. Mm-hmm. Felt very uninviting, right? Now, granted, I had my wife with me, had a phenomenal bar, so we were able to get drinks, hang out with each other, but upstairs was a private area.
Yep.
And I didn't really see anybody going up there, but what I noticed was the regulars were catered to, which is not a problem.
That's not a problem.
But don't ignore the other people that walk in, right? My hostess, waitress should have realized very quickly that I'm probably a little more prominent than the average guy, right? Because I didn't order some cheap ass drink. We went straight for a top-notch bourbon right off the bat. She should have caught it, right?
I said, have I not said the same thing about a tobacconist?
Yes.
As a tobacconist, you should know nearly immediately if the
Yes.
person knows what they're doing or they
not.
don't. Same thing with
you know,
spirits. Like,
because I went in and I ordered a Knob Creek 15
oh,
right
yeah.
off rip, right? Like, bring me one for myself and make my wife an old fat. So I mixed Knob Creek 15
Woo.
in an old
It
fashioned.
was good though.
It was phenomenal. But my thing is if I roll in and I order Knob Creek 15, you should know
I know what I'm doing.
He knows
right?
what he's doing. That's a guy that I'm going to want to stay with for a little bit because he's probably going to order several. I had to chase her down to order a second drink. That pissed me off. And after my second one, I was ready to go because she was too busy talking to the youngins and the little fellas that they're just here to look at you. They're not going to spend no money.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not here to look at you, and I'm ready to spend whatever it costs to entertain me and my wife.
Yep.
Right. So, I think that's just one of those things. So, yes, going back to where we originally were, certain things I want in the membership is a private lounge. One of them doesn't have to be. Right. Do I like the idea? Absolutely. Would I pay more for it? Yes. But let's talk about the good times, because I've kind of purposely not gone crazy on my cigar just to keep my palate kind of clean. This is phenomenal.
Man, this is, if you don't like a honey finish, you're going to love this. This is a Bourbon Lovers honey finish bourbon.
It's bourbon forward.
It's
the
so
honey
bourbon forward.
And sweetness is really subtle.
Very subtle.
Back palate.
Mm-hmm.
This has an incredibly long finish, right? I mean, it's just a joy to drink. I'm not even going to joke. It's well done.
It's just really, really nice to sip on.
Yeah,
absolutely nice to sip on.
Yeah,
like you know, I'm still tasting it. Like still going down the journey.
Yeah,
on the palate. Like it's really great. But to finish about the whole membership thing, I guess, I feel like most lounges do and should have some form of membership for folks, right? Because you want to feel like you're a part of the success of the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and then you also want to show your sort of loyalty to it, right?
Want to show your appreciation by getting a membership.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And you know, having the box, like you say, the locker is a must. Like, it's an absolute must. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what those, 24 locker monstrosities cost.
Oh, they're expensive.
They're probably outrageous.
They're expensive.
And the return on investment on those things has got to be ridiculous. Like, it must take forever. Just from a standpoint of money made from the locker, right? Now, you could argue that people are coming more often because they're a member now, and that you're making more money than you would without the locker. You could, but even still, I can only imagine.
So when I think about lockers, right, like as far as from a business owner standpoint, I think it's the one thing that's pretty close to guaranteed. You can never gauge how much you're going to sell in cigars. You can never gauge how much you're going to sell in beverages or alcohol or accessories, that type of thing. You can look at historical data and say we've run at 85% capacity for the last year, and calculate that every month, right? Like, now some months are going to be a little bit different. You're going to have 100% capacity. Some months you're going to have 75. But if you can average it out at 85, right, we normally run at 85% capacity for 12 months.
Right.
And that gives you an idea of what your reoccurring income is going to be from just that.
Right.
Which is nice. You can accordingly set locker prices to take care of most of your overhead. That would be my thought process.
That's probably true.
That's what I would think of as a business owner. I would go
that the cost of the locker themselves it's a sunk cost, and that you're just using that as recurring revenue.
So I need to make X amount of dollars to pay the light bill, pay the mortgage, the rent, whatever it might be.
That's a really good point.
You know what I'm saying? So I can take that number and say, okay, each locker needs to be $65 base level, 85, 150. Right, like whatever it might be. I don't know what the numbers are, but that would be how I would work it as a business owner.
Okay.
Man, we have dived into all kinds of different things now. Like, we just, we all over the place now.
I mean, but again, I feel like it's kind of a necessity if you have a cigar lounge, and then you just kind of have to pick that model that works for your business model.
Yeah, absolutely.
What works best, and I think here they went with what they went with. to simply say, we don't have a lot of extra amenities that we can offer with a membership. So here's what we're going to do, right? Whereas the other place that we go to, said we can offer some extra stuff, whatever, right? And so they went with something slightly different. And then, like you said, you go to some of these other ones that have the private lounges, they charge a little bit more, right? A lot of times those places start at like $150.
Yeah,
right?
minimum.
And the majority of what you're paying is to have that private space, right? I mean, they've got to furnish it, condition it, clean it, maintain it, blah, 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 right? All that kind of good stuff. Now, I'll tell you what I think, if you're going to have a private lounge, that extra little star, that if you want to do it right, you sell day passes.
Yes.
So if someone is willing to tack on that day pass because they're coming through town and they just don't want to deal with, the ruckus that's going on in your public space, they can go in your private little area right there, your membership only area, essentially for a few hours, because that's all they're going to be there.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And
Which we've done that before.
We have, and I think that's a really cool add-on ability that you can do that.
Yeah. So. Well, and that's the thing, right? So we like to travel in a pretty big group. So I know we ventured to another cigar lounge in another state, and we let them know hey, we got 6 to 8 people coming to hang out, and they offered day passes. I don't believe we had to pay that day. I know I didn't for the day pass because I think y'all got there a little bit before I did. But
I don't remember if
I don't believe we paid for it. To be completely
honest. It was like $5.
But even still, we came in and we spent a couple thousand.
Yeah, between all of us. Yeah, we spent quite a bit. We
spent a couple $1,000s in cigars and accessories and different things. So I think they pretty much just was like, oh yeah, y'all good.
Right.
But we also don't necessarily like to. It's really hard to seat 6 to 8 people in a public lounge, right? Especially if they all come in at the same time.
Yep. Absolutely.
So it was nice to be at that place and be like, hey, there's quite a few of you guys. Y'all want to go upstairs?
Right.
Why don't y'all do that? Oh, okay, cool. So I like the idea of both, right? I'm never in such a shit. Real truth, if I'm in such a shitty mood that I want to be left alone, I should probably stay home. That's being completely honest, right?
Yeah, that's probably true.
But there are some days where I don't have it in me to be big ambassador for a place, right? It's cool to talk to my friends and I'll say hello to the people coming in the door, but I don't want to have to do the rigmarole of introduce myself to a new person, getting acquainted, somebody asking me what do I do for a living, and going through the whole thing. I'm not in the mood to do that every single day. Cigars is my relaxing place most times.
Yep, I totally get it. I do. I totally get it. Sometimes the folks around you just can't help it, right? They see you as that ambassador, and
and I don't mind. 97.6% of the time, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's a happy place for me. Yeah. I enjoy talking to people most times. There are just days where you've been through it. You get beat up at the office, right? Yep. I'm a business owner, so I get beat up more than most because I got to deal with a couple of different things that come through.
Right. Of course.
And there are just days.
Yep.
So
I totally
outside
get it.
of that, no, I'm good.
Well, I guess that's when it's nice to have that home lounge, and you'll get one of these days.
Yeah, we plotting right now, so we'll see.
All right.
But hey, before we get too far, because we're running out of time.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about the cigar.
So, man, this is a really good cigar. I don't know that I like it better than the standard Queen. And I know people like to say, oh, you can't let price enter the mix, but I say you absolutely
price has to be in the mix.
You absolutely have to put it in the mix. Not only do you have to put price in the mix, but you have to put availability in the mix.
Absolutely.
So I think for the price, I probably prefer the regular one because this one was a few dollars more. And yes, I'm getting more strength, but I don't know that I'm getting more flavor. Just being honest, I think the other one is more flavorful.
I'll keep my thoughts to myself.
No?
That's not what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. I'm letting you give your thoughts.
This is very good. I don't know that I think I'd actually prefer the other one over this one. But I'm a flavor guy. Like I want flavor more than I want strength. So that's where I am with that. And then the spirits, I mean, you know, we didn't drink everything that's here, not that we would, but this honey finished William LaRue Weller finish like is just incredible.
Yeah,
it's absolutely incredible.
It's a banger.
He went through however many bottles he had. You know, it was probably about 200 bottles or something because he bought the whole barrel.
Like 3 or 4 days.
It was like a week.
Yeah.
You know, so if you didn't get one, sorry, but it's absolutely amazing.
Don't disagree.
That's what I got. How about you?
So about the cigar, to be completely honest, I'm not a fan.
Okay.
It's just strong.
It sacrificed some flavor for the strength.
It's just strong.
That's what I'm talking about.
This might be the first Caldwell cigar that I'm not a fan of. Just because it's so strong, it's pricey. I won't say what exactly it costs, but it's above $15. Right? Like,
yeah.
For what I'm getting from it, it's not enough. It's very one-dimensional. No complexity.
Yep.
For me, anyway. So it's just not something that I think I want to revisit.
Right.
To be completely honest.
No, I won't buy this again either.
Right. So in my brain, is it a bad cigar? No, I don't think so. Do I think it's a good cigar? No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
I'm just kind of in between. Like, if someone gave it to me, I would smoke it. But if I had to buy it, it won't happen.
Right.
Right. As far as the spirits, we both started out with the Wilderness Trail, I believe.
Yep.
Great bottle. Can't go wrong, especially at the price point that we got it at.
Yeah.
Don't know how I'd feel about it at 65. I didn't have to buy it there. So to be completely honest, I can't give you a review on it at 65.
That's difficult.
I'm giving you my review at 25. At 25, it's a phenomenal bottle. At 65, I'd probably leave it on the shelf because there's a couple other things that I would buy. The Good Times Honey Barrel Good Times finished in the William LaRue Weller, and then Honey, banger. Might be the best Good Times I've ever had.
From the bourbons.
Yeah. There's one that we like a lot. That's an outlier.
Yeah.
But
as far as the bourbons go, yeah,
that might be the best one.
This is only the third bourbon that I've bought.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've bought quite a few of them. I mean, I've done grape, I've done Neapolitan, I've done I'm missing one, I can't remember what it is, but I've done it. And then this one, and this is by far of the ones that I purchased my favorite.
Absolutely, the best so far.
But yeah, that's all I've got, man. Like,
all right.
I think we've had some good dialogue,
man.
Good content. But
let's wrap it up.
All right, well, y'all know what it is, man. Another episode of High Proof Ashes. Please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, hit that little bell so that you get notifications when we drop new content. We got a lot of new stuff coming, man.
We do.
A lot. Like, we're going to try some different things. And if you got something that you want to see us do, I'm not eating no hot chips or no craziness like that. But, if you got some things interesting as far as bourbon, cigars that you want to see us do, let us know. We'll go out and get it done, man. We looking for some new and innovative stuff. But y'all know what it is, man. My name is Duran. No cool nickname. My partner sitting across from me is...
I'm Jason, JB Smoke. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Put smoke in the air.